This video is going to cover the processing of your first payroll in the People's Choice Payroll program. It's assuming you pick up where we left off in a previous video, which was the fast track for setting up your payroll, whether it be a nonprofit organization or a Schedule C sole proprietorship organization or business. So we've already set up the employee templates and the taxes and so forth via that fast track setup. And we have added 2 employees. One is John Smith, who's an hourly employee, and we set the other one up as Sally Smith, who is a salaried employee. So what you do for your payroll is you go in to run a payroll, and you would go ahead and enter in the dates. In our example, we're set up for bi-weekly. We're going to do this pay period. So we would go into enter pay data. We're doing bi-weekly, so that's our first one. We make sure that we exclude all the other ones and click bi-weekly payroll, hit enter payroll. And we have 2 employees. This one is hourly. And we'll just go ahead and we set the default wage here. In our example, we're going to have the hourly person pay overtime in this particular example. So we're going to go ahead and they worked 80 hours, which would be the standard regular time, but they also put in 2 hours of overtime. And then for Sally, she's bi-weekly paid, and we just would enter that in, and that's 80 hours. So that's the hours and the salary. That's all we do. If you have more employees, you would just enter in the hours, or if their salary, just put in a 1 and whatever their salary is in the setup. Once you've done that, you click calculate, and then you can view the calc report, and this shows what the total of the gross payroll is for each one of them. And you can verify the taxes. If you had deductions, you could verify the deductions, and everything looks good. At the end, here's a recap of what the total cost of the payroll is, what your business or organization's employer share of the taxes is. And so the total cost to the employer is showing here on these 2 employee checks, but then the net check amounts are the 2 checks added together. So everything looks good for that. Then you would go ahead. If you need to edit results, you could edit results. If you saw that you got the wrong number of hours or whatever, you can click recalculate and go up and correct the pay data. If you were tracking vacation, you could go ahead and subtract the amount of hours of vacation that they may have taken. But if everything's just pretty straightforward, you click create checks, give the option to back up. I'm going to say no. And what's your first check number? And you have 3 different sets of check numbers if you're printing computer checks. You would just confirm what the first check number is that's in the printer. And if you were setting up direct deposit, there would be another option where you could assign an other check number to the direct deposits. But we're just straightforward printing computer checks. So we say create checks. And we can run the same report again if you need to. But it's just a recap of the calc report, but it now shows which check numbers were assigned to each check. And so then if you're ready to print the checks, you would go ahead and click print checks, and you would put the checks in the printer. It's going to say it's going to print 2 checks, print checks 1 through there. You say okay, and it goes ahead and sends those to the printer and prints the checks. And so you've done your first payroll at the People's Choice Payroll program. All you will do for the next time you come in is you'll click in next pay run, which will advance your dates automatically. You click enter pay data and go to bi-weekly, and it brings up the previous week's hours, so you would go ahead and change the hours if necessary, if everything's the same, or maybe there was no overtime on this one. So then you could take that out, go through the same process of calculate, review, create checks, print checks. So it's pretty straightforward doing a simple pay run. So if you're going to do your payroll tax deposits, that's where you go to pay tax liabilities. And so for the 940, most organizations only have to make those payments once a quarter, so we'll just skip over that one. Some people only pay their 941 taxes once a month, and probably in this case, the smaller business with only 2 employees probably is only paying once a month. But if you have more and you were going to pay right away every time you do a payroll, you would come in here and select all, say create checks. Now most people are filing their 941s online, and so you're not actually going to create a computer check, so you would assign this to other. And if you did this in advance, you would maybe put in a confirmation number here, and you would go ahead and say create check. So it added that to your checking account. So if you're using the People's Choice program to actually manage your checkbook as well as payroll, this is what automatically adds that payroll deposit to your checking journal. So a lot of people will go ahead and print the check and maybe have it attached to some of their worksheets that they use for gathering their payroll. Pretty simple in this particular one. I'm going to say no. I'm done. That's probably all I'm going to do for this payroll, but you also have this for the state income tax, which none was withheld, and the state employee tax. And so that's what completes the payroll processing for now, and that's how you get started on your first payroll.